Hey everybody, just real quick, we opened up the window for Art Green and Darius Muasau. So just so you guys, just a little update on that for you.
Please raise your hand if you have a question. Paul Schwartz.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Hey, Paul. Doing great.
Hey, good. A couple of things. Did you get any time away from it? And if you did, what did you I'm sure you didn't get 100% time away. What did you reflect back on maybe what you've done so far and what needs to be done moving forward?
Yes, to answer your first question, I did get some time. Took a few days there at the back end of it to watch my kids play, floor hockey, indoor hockey, some sports. So I was at some sporting events. That was awesome. So cool to watch them compete and have fun. And then, yeah, I absolutely had some time to reflect and think about the first 3 weeks, think about kind of the future of it and what we wanted to get accomplished, whether that was, via self-scout, which I spent a bulk of the time looking at offensively, defensively, special teams wise, working with the coordinators on some self-scout stuff and just bouncing ideas off each other. So that was pretty cool and very productive. And it's cool to kind of see that come to life today in some of those meetings we had and had a nice little, kind of walk through to talk through some of those ideas. So that's been a positive and really cool, just a good energy in terms of coming back off the bye.
One more thing. This is very new to you, right? I mean, this is, in this interim role. This is not very new to your roster as far as, it's late in the season for them. It's earlier maybe for you in your mind because this is the start of something. I don't know if you would agree with that or not, but do you sense any kind of, selling job you need to do with some of these players coming back after a late bye to focus on these last 4 games and, not kind of wait till the end of the season kind of thing?
I don't sense that. I mean, if you're in our team meeting today, if you're in our walkthrough today in the individual meetings, you felt the energy and you felt the urgency for these guys to continue to improve and put together a great week of practice for Washington.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Ed Valentine.
Mike, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Ed?
Good. Sort of piggybacks off Paul's question, but with the late bye, with 4 weeks left, what is the message, for these guys as they come back as far as, what you want to accomplish the last 4 weeks?
I think what the messaging has been is really just focusing on today, focusing on this week, not look ahead 4 weeks in the future, just focus on how we can improve. And then that's one of the great reasons why we had a great bye week is to evaluate all those things and evaluate, our schemes, the play callers. Like I did a deep dive into how I'm calling the games and where I can get better at. And it was cool to kind of to really, be really critical of the areas that I can get better at. So, coming with a great plan for the players, how they can improve, how we can get better, and then really all focus on Washington.
What's the value of, I know for you, you're a lot of guys trying to compete for jobs, compete for roster spots, put good film out there. What's the value, at 2-11, for players of winning these games?
Regardless of the record, our focus and our vision is on Washington and how we can improve as a team, how can we improve individually, and then as a group, and then as a team. So, again, our coordinators and our coaches have a really clear plan on how we want to do that and how we want to attack it. So now it's about bringing that to life, and no better than our players having that opportunity and continuing to find ways for them to get better. I think as an NFL football player, you want to be able to maximize yourself, and that's what our challenge is as a coaching staff, is to continue to maximize our players. So putting them in a good position, continuing to have an aggressive mindset, and then attacking this week with great urgency.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Brian Dunleavy.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, Ron.
I was a minute late here. I'm at the Brian Burns event. I saw Twitter tells me you updated some practice windows, but other guys, last time we saw Tyrone Tracy was pretty banged up at the end of that game. Kayvon Thibodeau, do you expect those guys to be back on the practice field at all this week or before the end of the season?
Yeah, we'll see on both of those guys right now. They're just getting the rehab. Really, today is kind of one of their just kind of working out and getting through the walkthrough. Tomorrow we'll have a better feel once we kind of see them in the training room today and tomorrow. So we'll have a better feel tomorrow for you.
Okay. What happened over the last week with Brian Cox?
Yeah, Ryan. I'm not going to get into the details of what happened with B Cox. Just the same as I'm not going to get into the details of how we handle our players. Those are tough decisions, but I'm going to keep those in house, and just out of respect for everybody. But I mean, the one thing I will say is being in this job for the last few weeks, having to make some decisions, and some of them have been very public. Many of them haven't been, and I think what I've learned is how can we continue to put this team in the best position to win games. And that's what I'm evaluating. So everything top to bottom, taking the time to do that, being very detailed, be very, I would say, just having a good pulse of like what this team needs and understanding how I want to get that done, and just having a clear message there. So that's what we thought was best for the team. That's what I thought was best for the team. So we went with it.
What do you think? We're going to talk to him in a minute, so I'm curious. What do you think of the season Jermaine Illuminor has had?
Yeah, really, really proud of Jermaine, being with him here for the last few years. His work ethic, his just intentionality in the meetings, and then the production he's had on the field has just been super impressive to watch him go out there and play his butt off each play in the run game and the pass game. And, he's up versus, a bunch of different challenges this year in terms of pass rushers on the edge, and he's stepped up every single time. So I'm very proud of Jermaine.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Evan Barnes.
Hey, Mike, I'm just curious. When you said you self-scouted, just kind of how you call plays, just kind of what are some things you noticed as far as during that observation you had? Yeah,
the tendencies when I'm calling certain things, certain parts of the game when I'm calling certain things, or things that I'm not calling that I wish I would get to. I go back and look at the call sheets and see some of the things like, each game you have a call sheet, and we kind of highlight the ones that we did call in that game and which ones I didn't call. So I'm looking at call sheets saying, why didn't I ever get back to this play or this series of ideas? Just taking notes, looking at the notes from post-game stuff and thoughts that we had after the game, which we things that we really liked that we wanted to get to. So just being really critical of myself on things that our players do really well, and how can we get to those things more? How can we get to some alternative things that complement it to give ourselves an advantage?
And then also, I know the Commanders, obviously, they didn't play Jaden Daniels the rest of the game. They said he could have played in. When you're looking at Washington, do you kind of prepare for both Jaden and Marcus Mariota just because of, how fluid that situation is?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to look at both. I think they both have a similar skill set. They're both able to run and throw and operate. Marcus is a veteran quarterback. I remember him from my time in Tennessee. We played together there for a hot minute, for a couple weeks. But yeah, a lot of respect for both of those guys, and Cliff does a great job with the offense. So it's going to be a big challenge for us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Last one, Art Stapleton. Oh, sorry, two more.
Okay.
Art and then Tom Rock.
Hey, Mike. How's it going, man?
Hey, Art.
Just curious, you've obviously been in this situation now as an interim head coach. I'm just curious. I know it probably seems like, I'm not sure if it seems long or if it seems like it just happened yesterday, but what are the challenges now that you're in this position to get things that you want done, and the personalities that are involved? And I would imagine it's just not as simple as, okay, I'm the head coach now, so I get to do it my way. So how hard is that to implement your way and how you see things in this role?
Yeah, I think what I know is you open up lines of communication and collaborate with the great people we have here already. Sure, there's some things that if you feel like fits our team and is going to help us win, those are some of the little things that you want to maybe tweak or change. But it's just open up lines of communication across the board with really all the departments, communicating kind of my vision, communicating how I see things happening, and then working with each other to get it cleaned up and fixed. So if there's problems and there's issues, then being able to be a problem solver and be an asset and clean those things up that I think we need to get cleaned up. And then the things that are working really well, you build on that. And I think there's just a lot of opportunity for growth across the board with our players, with our coaches, with our staff, how we can continue to grow and get better. And having this bye week really opened my eyes to some of those areas, and as best I can, and the amount of time I have to do that. Because again, I come to the office. There's things you got to make sure you touch base with the players, the staff, but then also there's a game planning part. We have a game we got to play, and getting that stuff organized. And I'm lucky to have a great staff. I'm lucky to have a great group around me that can support me and kind of keep me on track. And then wherever I can, insert myself and put my fingerprint on it.
The other thing would be, a 44-year-old quarterback just signed with a practice squad in the NFL. Have you given up on that dream? Did
that hit? I haven't seen it yet. Did that hit?
Rivers signed to the practice squad. And
good for him.
I'm just curious, when you hear that, you know yourself, you know your body. I'm not comparing and contrasting, but could you imagine?
I know where you're going with this, Art. Yeah.
Could you imagine in a different world?
My time is over. That time is over. That time is over for me. But that's great for him. That's awesome. Hope he does great.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Last one, Tom Rock.
Mike, I just had a real quick one since Indiana's been in the news lately. Micah McFadden, is he up and running, it looked like? And does he have any chance of coming back this year?
Yeah, I think he does have a chance. Don't know when. Don't have a timeline there yet, but I think he definitely has a chance. He's certainly walking around with his chest puffed out a little bit more these days.
What would be the benefit, I guess, of getting him back on the field, even if it's just for a game or two at the end of this year?
Yeah, he's itching to get out there, and I know as soon as our training staff feels like it's appropriate, we'll get him out there. I know he's chomping at the bit to be out there with his teammates and contribute in any way possible.